Welcome to the April 28th, 2020 meeting of the MCCSC Board of School Trustees. Hopefully we're all in order. Come to order. In that we are using a virtual platform, we will begin with a roll call. Mrs. Butcher will keep track of this and all the votes will be by roll call. Mrs. Butcher.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Yes?
Yes.
You have to unmute yourself to be heard.
Present.
Thank you. Martha Street,
Present.
Sue Wanzer,
Here.
Kathy Fuentes Rohrer,
Here.
Elizabeth Rue,
Here.
Brandon Schur,
Here.
Jacinta Townsend Guides.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the time we've set aside to receive information and updates from the superintendent, Dr. DeMuth.
Thank you. A big thank you and congratulations to our entire staff for the tremendous hard work they have done to prepare the learning platform for our children. Again, I say, they transferred this platform overnight. We started on it about 3 weeks before spring break. They were working diligently on it all through spring break, and we're very fortunate that all that time went into it because it has worked out extremely well. We've learned a lot, as you can well imagine, but our staff has done a tremendous job. And thank you to our families, particularly our students, for really digging in and following through the curriculum. We know it's been challenging, we know it's been difficult, but we do appreciate everything that you've put into it. And I know our seniors will be extremely prepared, because if they can get through this, that perseverance will pay big dividends in the end. So thanks to all of you. In addition, I really take a great pride. The state of Indiana asked all of us to send in our contingency learning plans, which we did. And as you can well imagine, Dr. Prankert, Dr. Mobley, Dr. Winston, lots of our coaches, many of our teachers, many of our principals, all have been involved in putting that together. And when the Department of Education saw our plan, they got back to me like the next day and said they had not had such an extensive plan. The depth of the plan was truly amazing, and quite honestly have used us as a model, and we've had numerous calls about the plan. So congratulations to all those folks who have worked diligently on that. In a recent article in the Bloom magazine, it featured women in STEM, and a congratulations to Dr. Winston and Katie Sparks for being featured as many young women who are promoting STEM. And I'd like to also congratulate a few of the women here who have worked diligently, particularly our principal in the area of STEM, along with Lisa Roberts, principal at Grandview. And a big thank you to Cyrilla Helms. Cyrilla, as you know, is our executive director of the foundation, but she has been extremely supportive for all of the STEM endeavors, particularly when we're talking about our STEM bus. Many years ago, we said, hey, on a Saturday morning, we'd like to have a GEMS activity for young women. She stepped up and got the resources and has done a fantastic job. So we do appreciate that. To our students and families, hard to believe, last day, May 7th. And again, we thank you for conquering the challenges and working with us on the challenges that we've had. Please know that all of the information regarding bringing the devices back, getting your belongings from your school building, seniors picking up your caps and gowns, to again handing in your devices, to returning your caps and gowns, to picking up your diplomas, all have been planned out. We do have dates attached to each of those, but we are really waiting for the governor to address our stay-at-home order. And so our days are depending on that stay-at-home order. So once we see what the state of Indiana will be doing, we'll be able to make those days, change the days or keep the days, and we will be notifying you of all that information. So stay tuned, and that will be forthcoming quickly. Again, another thank you to Mrs. Cyrilla Helms, who set up the COVID-19 donation opportunity on the foundation website. We truly appreciate that. And she also has initiated a Giving Tuesday. And so Giving Tuesday is a drive for MCCSC alumni, families, and friends to support students at this time. The goal is for alumni to share with their classmates, asking them to support our students and schools during this crisis. MCCSC graduates approximately 600 each year. Over the past 50 years, that's 30,000 graduates who are dispersed globally. Add to that families and friends, and we have a tremendous network. Gifts of any size will make a difference to help provide educational and basic needs for our students. And Giving Tuesday will be now through May 5th. Please get on the mccsfoundation.org website, and we would certainly appreciate your gifts. So again, my thanks to Mrs. Helms. Thank you.
Thank you on behalf of the board, Dr. DeMuth. We are so grateful for all the work that you have done as well and for your leadership. So now we come to public comment. We asked patrons to submit comments regarding agenda topics via email. Please keep in mind, well, that there is no commenting on personnel matters. And I have one comment here from Mr. Paul Farmer that I will read. He's the president of Monroe County Education Association. He says, thank you, Dr. DeMuth, President Fuentes-Rohr, and the MCCSC board for giving me the opportunity to say thank you to those who have led the way through this very difficult time. First of all, on behalf of MCEA, I want to say thank you to Dr. DeMuth and her administrative team for their unwavering support of our students, teachers, and staff. From day one of our discussions about this pandemic, she has focused on the responsibility and safety of our students and our educational community. Our conversations have focused on supporting our staff in the best way possible to providing the best opportunities for continued learning for our students. The requirement to make very difficult decisions have been addressed head on with the intent of reasonability and flexibility, knowing that our educators will work tirelessly to develop and implement educational curriculum for our students. She has stressed that our educational families' social, emotional, mental, and physical health must come first. Thank you, Dr. DeMuth, Dr. Mobley, Dr. Winston, and Dr. Prankert for your care and leadership during this very difficult time. Next, I would like to acknowledge our students and their families. This crisis has placed tremendous pressure on our parents, guardians, and the support members of our students to help keep students engaged and then perform their own jobs and take care of other family responsibilities. We fully recognize it has been a struggle, but please know that we could not help our students grow and learn without your guidance and support. Your sacrifices have not gone unnoticed. Our teachers appreciate everything you have done to help keep our students engaged and focused. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the educators. None of us dreamt going into education to work with students in our current virtual capacity. We thrive on individual one-on-one contact that allows us to personally know and acknowledge the individuality of students. However, as always, our educators have taken a horrific pandemic and turned it into an opportunity for our students to grow and prosper. Under normal situations, educators transform every day and modify on the go in their classrooms. And now our teachers have taken this new classroom and created a new culture of excellence. So much so, many sacrifice themselves and their family to give everything they can to their students. I want them to know words cannot express how appreciative I am of their sacrifices and commitment to our students. Their dedication will be felt for years to come. I believe one thing we have learned during this pandemic is how important our social and emotional growth and security is to the importance of a healthy life. We all work very hard to provide the best opportunities for our students, but we must remember that family always comes first, and their health and well-being should be our #1 focus. To our educational community, don't forget to enjoy the time we have together with our families and loved ones. When possible and appropriate, get outside and enjoy the time we have together and celebrate the many gifts we have been so fortunate to have been blessed with. Thank you and take care to all. That was from Paul Farmer, president of MCEA. So after this.
Kathy, thank you for reading that, and thank you to Paul for really helping people to understand where our teachers, where our staff are in all of this, how much everyone working together has really made this work, and especially his praise of our superintendent and our administrators.
Yes, it was a really beautiful statement. Thank you to Mr. Farmer. So now for our consideration is the consent agenda, and that includes the following: memorandum from the executive session and minutes from the regular board meeting on March 24th, 2020, ECA expenditures, financial report from March 2020, food service assistance fund March 2020, appropriation balance report March 2020, register of claims April 28th, 2020, payroll register and payroll claims from March 2020. Do I have a motion regarding the approval of the consent agenda and to give the president the authority to sign items for all board members if approved?
Madam Chair, I would like to remove the meal and house account charges from the consent agenda so that we may be able to discuss it.
The food service assistance fund?
Yes. I'm just reading what the title of the document says.
So what, okay, how do we do that?
We take that off of the consent agenda and just vote on the rest of the consent agenda is one thing.
Okay.
Talk about
Okay. So I
Thank
take that. Did Tom want to say something?
So just move for the approval with the exception of that.
Okay, so I'll move for the approval with the exception of the food service assistance fund from March 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Keith, seconded by Sue. That we approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? Oh, we're going to do the roll call vote to approve the consent agenda, and Mrs. Butcher will call your name. If you can please signify your vote by saying aye for yes and against for no, or if you abstain.
Keith Klein,
Aye.
Martha Street,
Aye.
Susan P. Wanzer, Kathy Fuentes Rohr,
Aye.
Elizabeth Rue,
Aye.
Brandon Scher,
Aye.
Jacinda Townsend Geis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we move on? Oh, so motion carried. So now we move on to the school lunch account. Is up for discussion. Sue, did you want to say something else?
I
Yeah.
have a question, Judy, Kathy, about it.
Mhm.
Since this goes through March, does this include, I guess I'm wondering how when we were out of school and paying and supplying lunches for anyone who wanted a lunch, how that's being accounted for in our meal and house account charges, or if it isn't.
I'm not sure I understand. Is that donations that is accounted for? Make sure I understand what she's asking.
John didn't understand your question.
Okay, then I'll start with how are the lunches paid for that in March that we're providing for anyone who wants a free lunch? Is that coming out of our meal house account charges?
Well, as there are charges that are unpaid for, we settle up annually after June.
Okay, so I think the question, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your question is, as of when we started this, March 23rd, and all these lunches we're delivering all over the community, how is that being figured into the school lunch cost?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Those lunches are part of the food service reimbursement worked on by Mrs. Johnson for sort of a separate submission of reimbursement, federal, USDA, I think. So I do not believe we've done a reimbursement, but the plan and the charges are being accumulated so that we get reimbursed for those funds or those charges.
So all of the lunches that we're providing, and I'm so happy that we are providing those for anyone who needs them at almost 50 sites. all of that cost is going into, is being paid for by the federal reimbursement program that we use?
It should be, yes.
Okay. I just wondered, okay, how we got so high, and I didn't know if that had to do anything with the lunches we're providing.
You know, at the end of March is very comparable to last year.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions on that? No? So now do we make a motion to approve it? Okay, do I have somebody want to make a motion to approve the Food Service Assistance Fund, March 2020?
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the Food Assistance Fund.
Okay, moved by Sue, seconded by Brandon. And now Mrs. Butcher will take our roll call vote.
Keith Klein,
Aye.
Martha Street,
Aye.
Sue Wanzer,
Aye.
Kathy Fuentes Rohr,
Aye.
Elizabeth Rue,
Aye.
Brandon Schur,
Aye.
Jacinda Townsend Guys.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion approved. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, everyone. Now, next for our consideration are the donations. We would like to thank all of our donors. Do I have a motion to accept the donations?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Keith, seconded by Martha,
Yes.
that we accept the donations as presented. We've received donations totaling $10,850 as follows. Bloomington High School North received $50. Bloomington High School South received $10,800. On behalf of the board, we're thankful for all of these donors. We will now take a roll call vote to approve the consent agenda. Mrs. Butcher will call your name.
Keith Klein,
Aye.
Martha Street,
Aye.
Sue Wanzer,
Aye.
Kathy Fuentes Rohr,
Aye.
Elizabeth Rue,
Aye.
Brandon Schur,
Aye.
Jacinda Townsend Guys.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Kathy,
Next
I
part.
think I think you said the consent agenda when you really meant donations.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just a typo and I was just reading my script accidentally, sorry.
I just wanted to make sure the minutes were
You're right.
correct.
That was the
Thank
roll
you.
call for the donations. Thank you, Martha. Moving on now for our consideration is the personnel report. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel report as presented?
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Keith, seconded by Sue, that we approve the personnel report as presented. Dr. DeMuth?
Thank you. Yes, provided is a personnel report, and we do have one retirement of our teacher, one of our teachers, is Cynthia Creek, who received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from DePaul University, earned a master's degree from Indiana University Bloomington, began her professional teaching degree in 1981 at Laurel School in Shaker Heights, Ohio, and went on to teach at Spencer, Martinsville, saw the light, came to us at Rogers, and she's been with us for 25 years. We wish her the very best.
Absolutely. Do we have any comments from the board? Thank you, Dr. DeMuth. We'll now take a roll call vote to approve the personnel report. Mrs. Butcher will call your name.
Keith Klein,
Aye.
Martha Street,
Aye.
Sue Wanzer,
Aye.
Kathy Fuentes Rohr,
Aye.
Elizabeth Rue,
Aye.
Brandon Schur,
Aye.
Jacinda Townsend Guys.
Aye.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, motion carried. Next consideration are the contracts. Do I have a motion to approve the contracts as presented and to give the president the authority to sign for all board members if approved?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Keith and seconded by Martha that we approve the contracts as presented. Mr. Kenny?
Thank you. Good evening, President Fuentes Rohr, Dr. DeMuth, members of the board. There are 12 contracts and other agreements before you tonight for approval. I recommend approval of these contracts and agreements.
Do you have any comments from the board? No? Thank you, Mr. Kenny. We'll now take a roll call vote to approve the contracts. Mrs. Butcher.
Keith Klein,
Aye.
Martha Street,
Aye.
Sue Wanzer,
Aye.
Kathy Fuentes Rohr,
Aye.
Elizabeth Rue,
Aye.
Brandon Schur,
Aye.
Jacinda Townsend Guide.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now it's time for board comments. This is the side that we've set aside for reports, legislative committees, or anything. Anybody would like to share? Want to start, Sue?
I want to mention that, you know, I think we're all very, very grateful for everything that our faculty, our staff, everyone is doing. One of the best things I've seen lately is that this isn't distance learning, it's not e-learning, it's not homeschooling, it's crisis teaching. And I think that's really true, and our teachers have stepped up to that. If we had planned a couple years ago that we would do virtual learning, it probably wouldn't really look like this. And so I know for a lot of our families, people have had to be furloughed from work so they could be home with kids. People have made sacrifices. Our teachers and administrators have hung in there. And I think from everything that I see online, made the teaching still pretty fun for a lot of our kids. And I know for many kids, this has been very frustrating, and we're not all in this equally. It's very different depending on who you are and what your background is. So I just want to say I'm so grateful for everything that everyone has done. And I also want to say I'm very grateful that our First Lady, Dawn Johnson, has recovered from her COVID-19 and her 10 days in the hospital. That's just very, very good news for our community. So thanks, Kathy, for giving me the opportunity to talk.
Of course. Anybody else want to say something? Keith, you had your hand up?
Well, ditto to everything that Sue just said. And 2 words, thank you. And anyone who can hear me or watches this, it's for you that I'm saying thank you. A special thanks to our students, especially our seniors, who have left, who will be leaving under the most unusual circumstances a senior class has ever left a school. And you won't believe this now, but I will tell you that in 20, 30, 40 years from now, you will be talking about how your graduation went from high school with great fondness. But thank you for all you're doing. And Sue, in consort with what you said about Dawn Johnson, the mayor's wife, just happy birthday to the mayor, whose birthday is tomorrow.
Thank you, Keith. Anybody else have anything? Oh, Elizabeth.
I just wanted to say I attended the foundation meeting last week, and they are still very active and hard at work behind the scenes with everything they're doing. And they are working creatively to try to fill in gaps. And I think there's still school supplies that they're planning on trying to get out and have ready for next year as well, that couldn't get out before the end of this school year. And thankful for everything that the community has done to embrace this time.
Thank you. Brandon?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to all the teachers and administrations that they did what they did so that my kids and all other kids could learn. I also just want to thank, I think we've said this already, but thank all the parents. As a parent with kids and working and being home and all those different things, it presents challenges. So I just want to thank all the parents for working on this as best they can, knowing when to push their kids or to let their kids go a little bit. And so I just want to thank all the parents for all the work that they've done with the guidance of their teachers and administration, and excited for this to be over for all of us for a little bit. And but I do appreciate the teachers, administration, and the parents for making this work and not be a disaster in a lot of ways.
Thank you, Brandon. Anybody else, Jacinda or Martha? No?
No, I'm fine. I agree with everything that's been said. It's been a wonderful time with the cooperation of everyone. And I'm sorry for the seniors, but I think they'll look back on it and just appreciate the opportunities they have had and go on to their next phase of life.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, everybody's sort of already said, I saw a saying on social media the other day that said, we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. And I think that that's a very good mental picture for me, at least, to understand. And I'm grateful to everybody who's had a lot of patience with themselves, with their children, with their teachers and our administrators and our leadership, because everything changes on a dime here, and we have to just be so present in the moment. And it's very hard. I have a friend who's counting down the days, but she doesn't know what we're counting down to. So she has this calendar and she's homeschooling her kids of counting down. And a friend of mine said, it reminds me of those paper chains where you put a link on each time. So we might be wrapped in this link of chains by the time we're done. But I'm really grateful to all of you for being here, and Dr. DeMuth and everybody who made this meeting happen. And thanks very, very much. So our business for tonight is completed, and our next regularly scheduled board meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Kathy.